Jagmeet Singh is the leader of Canada's NDP. He joins me this evening from the foyer of the House of Commons. Mr. Singh, good to see you again. Thanks for taking time to speak with me.
Good to see you, Peter.
What's your assessment of Bill Morneau's fiscal update?
Well, what we said is that it's a $14 billion corporate giveaway, and it's a blank corporate giveaway, not targeted, at a time when Canadians are struggling with housing, the cost of medication. The Liberals are just giving away $14 billion in an untargeted manner. And this allows things like an exemption to allow corporations to purchase private jets, limousines. This is how untargeted it is. And really what it looks like is the Liberals are playing Santa Claus for rich corporations and Scrooge to everyday Canadians who are struggling to get by.
Okay, but you know the role that businesses play in driving the economy and creating jobs in this country. What would you do to encourage more investment in Canada in the face of the incentives being offered in the United States?
Well, I would look at how we can create targeted approaches to creating jobs. If we look at the history of blank giveaway in terms of their ability to attract new investments or create jobs, from 2000 to 2010, there were significant corporate tax cuts, but there was no significant increase in business investments according to Statistics Canada. In addition, what we're saying is economists have all agreed that one of the biggest problems that we have in Canada is household debt. So a solution that would address household debt and also give a competitive advantage to businesses is investing in our healthcare system to expand it and include medications for all, to cover medications for all Canadians. That would give a competitive advantage for businesses because there would be medication coverage for everyone. It would reduce the cost of their benefit packages. And it would also create an environment where every Canadian had access to medication. That would be my priority.
Okay, I mean, do you look at this kind of program that the minister has announced today to allow companies to write off their capital investments more quickly? Do you really think a bunch of companies are going out to buy limos and jets?
Sorry, if you could just repeat that again.
Yeah, the minister argues that this is targeted investment to allow companies to write off capital investments more quickly. Do you really believe companies are going to use this money to go buy limos and jets?
Well, that's a problem with this investment. It isn't targeted. The way it's designed is it allows for things like corporate investments into purchasing private jets. It increases the allowance by 300%, and to purchase limousines. It just shows how untargeted it is. My problem is that we have a targeted approach that signals clear investments in things that will create a benefit for Canadians, creating opportunities and work for Canadians. That's the way we need to go. This current approach is so broad. I'm giving you an example of how broad it is. It includes exemptions, increasing them by 300% for things like private jets and for limousines. Okay. That's my problem with the approach. It isn't targeted. Instead of giving away $14 billion in such a blank manner, I would look at how can we create competitive advantages for businesses in Canada, but also create benefits for all Canadians, and that's why I'm proposing the idea of investing in our healthcare system to expand the coverage for medication. Okay.
Do you believe there is a business investment problem in this country? Do you think Canadian companies right now are at a disadvantage compared to companies in the United States, for instance?
I think that we have an excellent opportunity or an excellent business climate for businesses. If you look at the things that we provide, the stability, the access to a universal healthcare system, which is a cost savings advantage for businesses, an educated population, there's many advantages that we provide. We can always look to improving that competitive advantage, and I'm proposing that expanding our healthcare system, including medication coverage for all Canadians, would be a concrete way to both improve our competitive advantage as well as providing relief to Canadians who are struggling with debt. That would be my priority as leader, and that would ensure that we're doing two things: providing competitive advantage for businesses, but also helping out Canadians that are really having a tough time with debt. And if you look at the household debt right now, for every $1 of disposable income, it's $1.69 of household debt. That's a significant problem for a lot of Canadian families.
Yeah, a lot of Canadian families are stretched. Where are you on the issue of deficit reduction? If the government has more money coming in, should it spend that money, or should it use that money to try to get back to balanced budgets?
Well, it depends on the priorities. I mean, I certainly don't believe that it should be our priority to go into deficit to give away $14 billion to rich corporations. That's certainly not something I believe in. I don't believe in austerity either. I believe in investing in social programs, so if we made a priority or a decision to invest in something like expanding our healthcare system, investing in healthcare, ensuring that Canadians had access to healthcare when they need it, and including medication coverage for all Canadians, that would be a program that I would look at as a priority for me. That would be something that I would prioritize, not a blanket giveaway of $14 billion to go further into deficit for that.
But do you want to see a firm date for getting back to balanced books or not? How important is that to you?
It's important for us to be balanced and for us to be measured. It depends on what our revenue is and what our financial situation is and the details of that. I would look at that and make a responsible decision. But given the options, priorities for me are investing in social programs, not in corporate giveaways. The priorities for me are creating competitive advantage, both for businesses and to support Canadians through a program like a medication coverage for all Canadians by expanding our healthcare system. Those are some of my priorities, and the way I would look at the decision between whether we run a deficit or not. Be responsible, but make sure the priorities are that something that gives an advantage to everyday folks, as well as creating a competitive climate.
Okay, can I ask you, so the government announced about a $600 million plan for boosting struggling media companies in this country, allowing them to become non-profit organizations, to receive tax credits and give tax credits to people who take out subscriptions for digital media services. Do you support that? Do you think that the media needs to be supported by government in this country?
I absolutely believe we need to have a program in place to support media. I think some of the proposals might be promising. I think there's no question about it. Journalism and media wants to remain independent, be able to hold the government to account. Media forms a pillar of our democratic system. But there's a number of other measures that were not put on the table and things that we've called for. Right now, the government spends the majority of its advertising budget on web giants like Google and Facebook. And that means those are dollars that are not spent in local publications here in Canada, which is a massive loss in terms of their revenue for supporting local media. I think that's something we need to look more at.
Some critics, I think the Conservatives included, say that this is the government trying to buy off the media in an election year. Do you view it that way?
Sorry, I missed that question.
The Conservatives look at this, and other critics say this is the government trying to buy off the media in an election year by providing this kind of support package. Do you look at it that way?
No, I don't accept that frame that the Conservatives are trying to push. Media and journalists are committed towards independence and have a strong reputation of maintaining journalistic integrity. The proposals so far, to me, do not in any way suggest that concern.
Jagmeet Singh, leader of Canada's NDP, appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much.